What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel. It is starting 11 prediction time for tomorrow's penultimate home league game of the season against St Mirren at Celtic Park. We come into it off the back of that 3-0 defeat at Ibrox last weekend. I almost can't believe I'm saying that. Not the performance that we expected. I think obviously the players have been tremendous all season. The levels of consistency have been absolutely fantastic. We've won 2 trophies already. We're in the cup final to complete a domestic treble. But I think the standards the players have set this season, they fell way below that last weekend. I don't think there's any getting away for that. And you never like to lose these games. I don't think there's much more really to take from it. All right, we did win all the important derbies this season. Every game that mattered against Rangers, we won it. We came out on top, and that's why we're closing in on another treble. But it was a disappointing performance last weekend. I hope it works in our favour come next season in more ways, and everybody's discussed them after the fallout for last weekend, the ways that it could maybe work in Celtic's favour psychologically. But I think we'll be looking to perform much better tomorrow. We did see a few changes to the team. It was very experimental. I think that the likes of Abada coming back in after a long period injured. Up front, Kobayashi's obviously deputising for Carter Vickers. Bernabe played at left back. It was a very different look to the Celtic team from the majority of this season, but that's not an excuse for the performance they put in, and I think particularly in the second half. In the first half we had chances and we looked a threat, but we just didn't have any quality in the final third. The second half I thought was a really limp performance, very out of character for the team, so I think they should be looking to bounce back tomorrow. I hope that the manager goes back to a more full strength 11. I know we've won the title, but I think going towards the cup final, we want the full first choice 11 to be in as good form as possible, as sharp as possible, to finish the season strongly and go and complete that treble. But as I say, I think we've got to be looking for a reaction tomorrow. We'll start in goals, as we always do. Joe Hart, I think, is going to play there. Despite Scott Bain signing a new 3-year contract, doesn't get a lot of game time these days, Scott Bain, but he is part of the homegrown quota, and he's got another 3-year contract, so good on him. There's worse jobs than being second or third choice goalkeeper at Celtic, I bet you. Right back, Anthony Ralston is going to continue there. Don't think Johnson's back yet. It seems like the squad the manager has to pick from is the same as last weekend. I think Johnson's probably going to be looking to the cup final in terms of getting back to be in contention for that. He's a big player for us, but I think Ralston continues at right back. Starfelt and Kobayashi centre half. Greg Taylor at left back. We don't really have a lot of options. I know Kobayashi really struggled last weekend. He's culpable, or at least partly culpable, for the first 2 Rangers goals. His positioning and his awareness for the first goal after Hart parries Lundstrom's shot is really, really poor, and then he just gets out-muscled far too easily for Souttar's header. So it was a really tough afternoon for Kobayashi. He does have a lot of learning to do. As I say, with Carter Vickers out, I think Welsh still carrying an injury as well. He's going to get the opportunity to play these games, but he's got to learn and learn quickly. I think that was clear after last weekend. At left back, I expect Greg Taylor to come back in. Bernabe was another one that struggled last weekend. We talked about it at length in the post-match pint, but that's enough about last weekend. I think that'll be the back four. Back to as close to full strength as it can be considering injuries. In midfield, McGregor, I'm going Hatate and O'Reilly in front of him. I thought the midfield was poor last weekend as well, and I think that is the full strength midfield. We might see Aaron Moy come in, but I think the manager should go with those 3. I think if we get to the cup final and everybody's fit, those are the 3 that I would like to see start. So again, getting back to something more like full strength. And St Mirren, they've made it difficult for us. They are 6th in the table on 45 points. Still got an opportunity to move up in the last 3 games, although it'll be difficult for them. But as I say, they've given us a few good games this season. They did beat us obviously earlier on, but even the games at Celtic Park, they've made a fight of them until late in the game. So you'd expect something similar tomorrow from them. And I think that midfield, if they turn up and perform, will help us in there. Front three, I'm going full strength again. Jota on the right hand side, Maeda on the left, and Kyogo to return through the middle. I think we missed Maeda from the start last weekend. Jota did play, but Abada, as I say, big decision to throw him back in after being out for so long. I think it was 6, 7, even 8 weeks that he was out for. Hadn't played any football. If you go back to the game before last weekend, I don't even think he made the bench. So it was a big call to throw him straight back in. Didn't really perform. I want to see that front three again tomorrow. Kyogo coming off the bench last weekend, unable to really impact the game, but as I say, the game was gone in the second half and we didn't offer enough in the second half going forward, or in any manner, in any facet of the game in the second half last weekend. We didn't do enough, so it was difficult for the subs to come on and make a real impact. So that is the lineup I think Ange will pick tomorrow. Some discussion this week about could Ange be potentially signing a new contract. There was pictures of Dermot Desmond at Celtic Park. Those are rare. I wonder if he'll stay around for the game tomorrow. We'll see on that one. But who knows what the situation with Ange's contract is. I'd like to see him sign a new one, but if he's happy to work under the conditions of a rolling contract, then it's worked for us so far. I just think we'd maybe like to see the security of a longer term contract, because if the team keep playing the way they are and we can have more success and make more an impact in Europe next season, you feel more protected if a club does come and offer him a job. But we'll wait and see on that one. That's the team I think they'll pick tomorrow for this second last home game of the season. Wherever you're watching the game around the world tomorrow, enjoy it, and we'll see you after the game with full-time reaction outside Celtic Park. Cheers.